Hello friends, I'm Rati Rani and welcome to Free Legal Awareness and Literacy Program organized by Asmita College of Law. I'm really thankful to the organizers to give me this opportunity to share my views on National Company Law Tribunal, that's NCLT, and National Company Law Appellate Tribunal, NCLAT. The learning objectives, friends, of this particular study will be that you'll get a basic knowledge of Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code 2016, that's IBC, basic knowledge about National Company Law Tribunal and National Company Law Appellate Tribunal, NCLAT. Need and delay in formation of NCLT and NCLAT, formation and composition of NCLT and NCLAT, benches and jurisdiction of NCLT, advantages and powers of NCLT. So these are the learning objectives, friends. The outcome of this study will be you'll attain the basic knowledge of NCLT and NCLAT, right to legal representation, to specialize in matters relating to insolvency of companies, and essentials for a professional. Now, before going to what NCLT and NCLAT is, let's have an overview, friends, on Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code 2016, that's IBC. I feel that you should have a basic knowledge about IBC code so that, for us, it becomes very easy to understand what NCLT is all about. Now, there are many ways of doing business, friends. Like we can do business as a proprietary concern, we can do business as a partnership, we can do business as a limited liability partnership or LLP, or we can do business in the form of forming a company. Now, whenever the businesses are doing well, the formation is fine, but many a times it happens that the businesses are not doing well, or there is that you want to close down your business, or you want to dissolve your partnership, or we call it as winding up of a company. So generally जब आपका बिजनेस बहुत अच्छा नहीं चलता और आपको ऐसे लगता है कि अब आपको ये बिजनेस बंद करना चाहिए, और रादर आप इंसॉल्वेंट होते हो. इंसॉल्वेंट का मतलब होता है जब आप की लायबिलिटीज जो हैं वो आपके एसेट से ज्यादा हो जाती हैं, या आप अपने डेट, जो लोगों को आपको पैसा देना है, जो देनदारों को पैसा देना, वो आप पैसा नहीं दे पाते एंड यू बिकम इंसॉल्वेंट. सो फाइनली यू वांट टू गो इन फॉर क्लोजर ऑफ योर बिजनेस. अब नॉर्मली होता यह है कि अगर आप कंपनीज की बात करते हो तो 10 से 15 साल लग जाते हैं, before this code came into picture, that to close down a company. So government felt that, what was the main aim of bringing this code? Now, this is called as a code, friend. So let's try to understand what is an act and what is a code. Now, act is basically whenever you want to know want something, like you want for income tax purposes, you want an act to come into picture. So it goes to both the houses of the parliament, and then it gets an assent from the president, and that bill becomes an act. But when you have lots many existing laws which are already laws, okay, so a code is a collection of the already existing laws coming together. So that is the basic difference between an act and a code. So for code, for example, there were many acts relating to relating to insolvency. So we had the Companies Act 1956, which used to take care about the insolvency for companies. We had the Partnership Act 1932, which used to take care about the insolvency of the partnerships. Then we have the Limited Liability Partnership 2008, which used to take care about insolvency of the LLPs. And we had the Provincial Solvency Act 1920, which used to talk about the insolvency in case of proprietary concern. Now, all of them, now they have been merged. They were already existing laws. Now they have come under, all of them have come under what? They have come under the Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code. So this is, friends, a basic difference between act and a code. Now, what used to happen was, they used to take a lot of time for closure. So what the government wanted? The government wanted, one, the purpose was that all the various acts or various acts relating to insolvency, they should be at one particular place. That is, there has to be a common code where, you know, the insolvency of partnership or proprietaries or companies or LLPs, they have to be taken care under one code. The second important purpose was that is to expedite the process. Like, you know, they used to take a lot many years for winding up of companies, so they wanted to, you know, expedite, they wanted to make the process of winding up faster and to smoothen the process. There were certain bottlenecks which were there, so they wanted that the winding up process has to be smoothened. Now, the third point here was that what will happen to the acts which were already there. Okay, so in that particular case, suppose a person is not able to pay his debt to his creditor. So in that particular case, you have partnership, LLP, all of them, or Companies Act 1956 and later on Companies Act 2013, all of them now, IBC will overrule all these acts. So all these acts will now come under IBC. So suppose, for example, tomorrow there is a company which is going on for winding up, then it doesn't have to go to the Companies Act 1956, or it doesn't have to go to the Company Law Board. All these winding up procedures will be taken care by the IBC code. Now, why there is a need, friends, to understand this? Because the adjudicating authority, especially for the companies winding up, is taken care, that is by NCLT. So NCLT is the adjudicating authority. Whenever companies go into winding up, they have to go to NCLT. Now see, friends, in our country, see, we have got our most of the laws, हमको almost Britishers ने more than 150-200 years हम पे राज किया. So in that particular case, you know, most of the laws that have come to us, they have come through what? They have to come through Britishers. Now, in our country, friends, it was felt that whenever a person who is insolvent, you know, he was treated like a criminal. So, a second chance wanted to be given to such a person. You know, he can have a honorable life, you know, so that he can start afresh. So this was the main intention, that, you know, don't treat him as a criminal. See to it that, you know, he can again revive, or maybe he can do the winding up procedures, and he can have a dignified life. That was also an intention. Now, previously what used to happen was कि अगर कोई insolvent होता है, तो the government used to appoint what? A liquidator. Now, instead of that liquidator or an official liquidator, a insolvency professional will be appointed, who will be a private body. Now, this insolvency professional will take care of this entire winding up, or, you know, the resolution process. एक और बात इंसॉल्वेंसी एंड बैंक्रप्सी कोड में ये हुई कि अब इसको एक स्टेप में नहीं किया जाता. जैसे पहले ऐसा होता था कि अगर आप किसी को पैसा नहीं दे सकते, तो आपको अपनी कंपनी को बंद करना पड़ेगा, एंड वंस यू क्लोज डाउन योर कंपनी, then in that particular case, you know, his assets are sold and paid to the creditors. But now what happens? They are taken in two steps. Step number one is, पहले कोशिश की जाएगी उसको रिजॉल्व करने की, और अगर रेजोल्यूशन से काम नहीं होता, then it will go in for what? It will go in for liquidation or winding up. Now, let us try to understand. Suppose, friends, a person is dying. So we just don't leave that person to die. We try to see to it that we take him to the best doctors. We do we try to give him the best medication so that that person can revive. We just don't say, okay, fine, he's dying, so we will just let him die. Same concept goes for companies. So when the company's financial position is not good, we don't want that company to die, because the assets that those companies have, they are not only the assets of the company, they are the economic assets. They are those assets of the country too. Besides that, the people who are working there, they have their employment. So अगर एक कोई कंपनी बंद होती है, तो खाली वो कंपनी के एसेट्स नहीं है, वो इस देश के एसेट्स होते हैं. उसके साथ जितने भी लोग जुड़े हैं, उनकी एम्प्लॉयमेंट, दैट गोज एट अ टॉस. Besides that, जो हमारी गवर्नमेंट है, उनको जितना भी रेवेन्यू आता है in the form of various taxes, वो कहाँ से आता है? वो इन कंपनीज से आता है, इन द फॉर्म ऑफ मे बी जीएसटी, मे बी इनकम टैक्स। तो अगर जब कंपनी बंद होगी तो ये जो भी रेवेन्यू गवर्नमेंट कलेक्ट करती है वो रेवेन्यू भी नहीं कर सकते। इसलिए ये कोशिश की जाती है कि सबसे पहले आप उसको उन कंपनीज को मरने मत दीजिए, उनको रिवाइव करने की कोशिश कीजिए। So now generally the first process will be what? It will be resolution. Now friends, बट सपोज अगर हमने देखा है कि बहुत कोशिश करने के बाद भी अगर किसी इंसान का मरना लिखा है तो हम उसको नहीं बचा सकते, बट एटलीस्ट हम कोशिश जरूर कर सकते हैं। बट सपोज फॉर एग्जांपल यू डिड योर बेस्ट एंड यू वर नॉट एबल टू रिवाइव दैट पर्सन, देन इन दैट केस द पर्सन हैज टू डाई। Same logic works for resolution process too. If the resolution process is not successful, then you can go in for what, friends? Then you can go in for that is winding up. Now, if I'm talking about this insolvency and bankruptcy code, friends, this is basically bifurcated into 5 headings. जो पहला पार्ट है इंसॉल्वेंसी और बैंक्रप्सी कोड का, वो है वो कहता है अबाउट द डेफिनेशंस, व्हाट ऑल आर द डेफिनेशंस इन इंसॉल्वेंसी एंड बैंक्रप्सी कोड। द सेकंड पार्ट इज कॉर्पोरेट इंसॉल्वेंसी। नो, ये कॉर्पोरेट इंसॉल्वेंसी क्या होती है कि अगर कंपनीज जब वाइंडिंग अप के लिए जाती हैं या दोज कंपनीज आर सिक कंपनीज, सिक मतलब वो बीमार कंपनीज हैं। बीमार का मतलब होता है दैट देयर फाइनेंशियल वायबिलिटी और दे हैव लिक्विडिटी एस्पेक्ट्स। सो इस टाइप की कंपनीज मे बी वो कंपनीज जो 2013 कंपनीज एक्ट के अंदर बनी है या उससे पुरानी कंपनीज, प्लस जो भी लिमिटेड लायबिलिटी पार्टनरशिप है, उनका जो वाइंडिंग अप प्रोसेस होता है वो भी होता है अंडर पार्ट 2, दैट इज कॉर्पोरेट इंसॉल्वेंसी। सो अगर कोई कंपनी बंद होने के कागार पे है या यो इंसॉल्वेंट है या कोई लिमिटेड लायबिलिटी पार्टनरशिप है, ये दोनों both of them are taken care under part 2 of this particular IBC code, that is corporate insolvency. Now, friends, the third part talks about what? Whenever a person, that is a proprietor or a partnership firm, they go in for what? Winding up, or we call them as dissolution or insolvency process, that will be taken care in part 3 of the IBC code. Then comes the most important, friends, or the point that is very much essential for our study as on today, is part 4 of IBC code, that is the authorities. Now, ये जो authorities हैं कि अगर कोई company बंद होगी, I'm again and again specifying more on the companies, friends, because the study of NCLT is nothing but NCLT is the adjudicating authority for कंपनीज एंड LLPs। मतलब अगर कोई कंपनी बंद होने के कागार पे है या कोई लिमिटेड लायबिलिटी पार्टनरशिप इंसॉल्वेंसी के लिए, वो कहाँ जाएंगे? वो जाएंगे NCLT के पास। NCLT is the authority or to whom the companies will go in for winding up process. Now, under this authorities, friends, you have to understand there are 4 types of authorities here. पहली है जो adjudicating authority है, that is NCLT and NCLAT. उसके बाद होते हैं ऑफिशियल लिक्विडेटर्स। नाउ पहले क्या होता था कि ऑफिशियल लिक्विडेटर्स गवर्नमेंट अपॉइंट करती थी, बट अब जो लिक्विडेटर्स अपॉइंट किए जाएंगे वो प्राइवेट लिक्विडेटर्स होंगे, एंड वी कॉल देम एज इंसॉल्वेंसी प्रोफेशनल्स। अब यही जो इंसॉल्वेंसी प्रोफेशनल्स हैं, ये रेजोल्यूशन भी देखेंगे, और अगर रेजोल्यूशन में काम नहीं होता, then they will go in for what? They themselves will be taking care about the liquidation of the companies. Now, another third authority यहाँ पे है, that is the Insolvency and Bankruptcy Board of India, that is IBBI. अब ये जो बोर्ड है, ये एक सुपरवाइजरी अथॉरिटी है। ये जो रूल्स मॉनिटर करते हैं या रेगुलेट करते हैं, ये इन सब की जो पावर है वो IBBI के लिए है। अब ये जो इंसॉल्वेंसी प्रोफेशनल्स हैं, इनको एग्जाम्स देने पड़ते हैं, और वो एग्जाम्स कौन कंडक्ट करता है? वो है ये IBBI बोर्ड। उसके बाद फ्रेंड्स, लेट्स गो ऑन टू अनदर अथॉरिटी, दैट इज इंफॉर्मेशन यूटिलिटीज। नाउ ये जो इंफॉर्मेशन यूटिलिटीज है, इनका मेन पर्पस क्या है? द पर्पस इज दैट इफ अ कंपनी डिफॉल्ट्स इन मेकिंग पेमेंट टू क्रेडिटर्स और टू द लेंडर्स और टू द बैंकर्स और टू द बोरोवर्स, ये जो इंफॉर्मेशन यूटिलिटीज हैं, ये सारी इंफॉर्मेशन को कलेक्ट करती हैं। सो दे कलेक्ट दिस इंफॉर्मेशन and जस्ट लाइक अगर हमको किसी की क्रेडिबिलिटी देखनी है तो हम सिबिल के पास हम उसका सिबिल देखते हैं. सो दे आर व्हाट, दे आर द क्रेडिट रेटिंग एजेंसी. सिमिलरली ये जो भी लेंडर्स हैं, ये लेंडर्स को ये सारी इंफॉर्मेशन कि कोई डेटर उनका पैसा नहीं दे रहा है, वो सारी इंफॉर्मेशन इनको ये इंफॉर्मेशन यूटिलिटीज को देनी है. सो बेसिकली इफ यू टॉक अबाउट द अथॉरिटीज, वी हैव द एजुकेटिंग अथॉरिटीज which are different from whom, which are different, they are not coming under the insolvency professionals, they are a different authority. Then we have the insolvency professionals जो कि ये पूरा you can say that they take care of the entire process. Then we have the IBBI board जो कि regulatory authority है for insolvency procedures. And then we have the information utilities जो कि सारा information collect करती है in case of which daters are not making the payment to whom. And then finally, friends, part 5 of this IBC code is that rules and making powers and so on. So हमारे लिए जो सबसे important part होगा, that will be what? That will be the authorities. Now, let me come, friends, to the second part of IBC code, that is the corporate insolvency. Now, देखिए corporate insolvency का मतलब क्या होता है कि अगर कोई कंपनी में वो कंपनी a dater है, the dater वो कंपनी अपने dater को 1 lakh and above that, they are not able to make the payment. Okay, then the company can go in for what? The company can go in for the winding up process. So initially, pehle it used to go to whom? It used to go to the High Court. Now what has happened? That attempt will first be made, not directly go and just do the winding up of the company. So suppose अगर आपने किसी एक कंपनी ने अपने लेनदार को 1 लाख से ज्यादा पैसा नहीं दिया, तो लेनदार ये नहीं कह सकता कि डायरेक्टली वाइंड अप दिस कंपनी. पहले अटेम्प्ट किया जाएगा कि वो कंपनी का रेजोल्यूशन देखा जाएगा कि कैन वी गो एंड वी कैन अटेम्प्ट विल बी मेड टू रिजॉल्व. That is the insolvency will be first taken for resolution, because see what happens, just like I said, when a company closes, it is not only the assets of the company, they are the economic assets, the employment of the people is affected, the revenue of the government is affected. So first पहले ये कोशिश की जाएगी कि वो कंपनी को रिवाइव कैसे किया जा सकता है या रिहैबिलिट कैसे किया जा सकता है. पहले कोशिश की जाएगी कि वो ये कंपनी जिंदा रहे. अब रेजोल्यूशन प्रोसेस के लिए भी कौन जा सकता है? लाइक हु आर द पीपल हु कैन फाइल अ पिटीशन? नाउ वन, इट कैन बी an operational creditor, another one can be a financial creditor, and third one can be a corporate debtor himself. अब देखिए फाइनेंशियल क्रेडिटर कौन होता है? फाइनेंशियल क्रेडिटर वो होता है जो पैसा देता है कंपनी को, जिससे कि उसको इंटरेस्ट मिलता है. सो इट्स लाइक अ लोन, मे बी द बैंकर्स और द पीपल हु आर गिविंग लोन टू द कंपनीज टू गेट इंटरेस्ट. They are called as what? They are called as financial creditor. तो अगर आपने किसी financial creditor को पैसे नहीं दिए, he can go to go make the company to the procedure of what? That is insolvency. Second can be an operational creditor. Now operational creditor कौन होते हैं? Operational creditor वो होते हैं जो companies को they give them services, or maybe they give them goods and services, and the amount is due and the company is not paying them. Then they can also go in for what? They can also file a petition that we want the company to be either go for resolution or for winding up. And finally, friends, द कॉर्पोरेट डेटर हिमसेल्फ, कि अगर कोई कंपनी को खुद ही लगता है, कोई और नहीं कहता, बट उनको खुद ही लगता है कि वो अपनी कमिटमेंट्स या वो अपने लेनदारों को पैसा नहीं दे सकते, तो कंपनी खुद भी फाइल कर सकती है पिटीशन फॉर व्हाट? फॉर वाइंडिंग अप. सो अगर 1 लाख से ऊपर होगा, 1 लाख से ऊपर, तो कंपनी कैन गो इन फॉर व्हाट? दे कैन गो इन फॉर दी for insolvency. Now, friends, let's try to understand what the procedure will be in brief. सबसे पहला स्टेप ये होता है कि ये जो इंटरिम रेजोल्यूशन प्रोफेशनल को अपॉइंट किया जाता है, ये और जितने भी क्रेडिटर्स हैं, वो क्रेडिटर्स की एक कमिटी बनती है, एंड विद इन 30 days they make a plan, and that plan is submitted to NCLT. So NCLT is the adjudicating authority for company insolvency as well as for LLP. अब ये जो रिहैबिलिटेशन का प्लान है 30 दिनों के अंदर, ये एनसीएलटी को देते हैं, और एनसीएलटी अगर अप्रूव करती है then it will go in for what? It will go in for resolution. But if NCLT feels no, this company resolution ka ho hi nahi sakta iska, so then what will be happening? The second step will be taken, that will the winding up of the company will take place, or the liquidation of the company will take place. So this is, friends, what is the procedure in case of what? It's just a overview, friends. It's a detailed study, but I'm just giving you an overview how it works. अब ये जो अथॉरिटी है, दैट इज कॉर्पोरेट इंसॉल्वेंसी और एलएलपी के लिए इनको फाइल करना पड़ता है टू एनसीएलटी. बट अगर कोई प्रोप्राइटर या पार्टनरशिप है, तो दे हैव टू गो टू डेट रिकवरी ट्राइब्यूनल और डीआरटी फॉर, यू नो, दैट इज डीआरटी इज द एजुकेटिंग अथॉरिटी फॉर partnership as well as the proprietary concern. Now, अगर suppose NCLT में आपने कोई अपील दी है and you know you're not happy, so what you do is you have an appellant authority about that, that is NCLAT. Similarly, अगर DRT से आपको लगता है कि आपको justice नहीं मिला है, so you can just go further to the appellant authority, that is DRAT, that is Debt Recovery Appellant Tribunal. अब objective पे आते हैं, friends. Why there is a need for this IBC code? What was the objective? सबसे पहले हमने आपको कहा कि एक्सपीडिट करना है प्रोसेस को जल्द से जल्द करना है. 10 से 15 साल नहीं लगाने हैं कंपनीज को क्लोज करने के लिए. तो एक टाइम फ्रेम बनाया गया था, एक टाइम लिमिट बनाई गई थी. इसमें क्या है, ये जो IBC प्रोफेशनल्स हैं और ये जो क्रेडिटर्स की कमिटी है, they have been given round about 180 days to complete the entire process or the plan to the NCLT. So मैक्सिमम आपको 90 दिन का और अमाउंट एक्सटेंशन मिल सकता है. बट जिसको 10 से 15 साल लगते थे, अब within 270 days, friends, the entire procedure of insolvency is taken care. So जहाँ पे you can say 10 से 15 years लगते थे, अब maximum 9 महीने का time दिया जाता है. That is either go for resolution or for your liquidation. So this is basically, friends, what is. So आप जब time frame देखोगे तो time बहुत ही कम कर दिया गया है. So within 270 days, if you can see that आप कंपनी को बंद कर दीजिए and और अगर आप पहले resolve करने की कोशिश कीजिए, अगर resolution नहीं होता, then what you can do is you can just go in for winding up of the company. So this was, friends, from my end, I felt that this was a need that you should know what is insolvency and bankruptcy code. This is just an overview. It's a huge study, but what is important to us, I've just picked up that much part for our study because we want to go to what we have. Our topic of today is NCLT. Now, just like I have told you, what are the 5 parts, friends? The definition, corporate insolvency, insolvency of others, and the authorities. So here our main concern will be the authorities, that is the adjudicating authorities, NCLT and NCLAT. Now, friends, we come to improper to understand the hierarchy of our courts. So we have basically, friends, we have the civil judges and judicial magistrates. We have our district courts and session courts. Above that, we have our high courts, and then the law of the land is being taken care by Supreme Court of India. So in this particular case, friends, this is the hierarchy that follows. That is, first is the Supreme Court, then the High Court, and then we have the district courts and the session courts. With high courts, friends, we have tribunals or special courts. Now, before going in, friends, to know what are tribunals, let us understand, friends, what is a judicial body and what is a quasi-judicial body. Now, what is a judicial body? They are examples like, courts in India, they are judicial. Their main aim is to give justice. And for that, it relies on specific rules or law of the land. जो भी rules हैं, they follow the rules, they follow the law of the land, and that is the main. वो न्याय देने के लिए इन rules and regulations को follow करते हैं. Then they will have specific process, और आपको advocates ही चाहिए for this particular, to represent. That is, it follows specific process and needs advocates. You can go to them for all the problems. Whichever problems you have, you can go to them, and they are composed of judges only. So these are the judicial bodies, generally our courts. Now, friends, we come to quasi-judicial bodies. Now, quasi-judicial bodies का मतलब होता है कि their aim is also justice, but उनका जो दायरा है वो limited है. Like suppose for example, अगर आप Human Right Commission के पास जाओगे तो वो आपको justice सिर्फ उसके लिए दे सकते हैं. They cannot give you any justice relating to what? Relating to income tax or maybe any criminal case or so. उनका जो field है that is very limited, जिसको हम कहते हैं जो दायरा है वो बहुत limited है. Now, in this case, friends, for example, you don't only have judges, you also have people from, we call them as technical experts. They are also there here. You go to them for a specific field. If I have some issue relating to, for example, finance commission, then I can just go to them for to finance commission. So they do not have specific rules examples. You do not need advocates or lawyers. You can even personally go and appeal to them. Another examples are, friends, that is Finance Commission, a constitutional body, is also quasi-judicial body in matters related to summoning and enforcing attendance and requisitioning any public order for any court of office. It means what? That quasi-judicial होते हैं, like उनका justice देना उनका main aim है, but यहाँ पे you don't require what, only judges, or you don't want advocates. Even personally you can go it, and they basically support whom? They support the courts. And that support, it becomes easy because the courts otherwise, they have heavy burden of so many cases. So these are the judicial bodies which helps, to get justice. So tribunal is a quasi judicial body. Now अगर हम अपने संविधान का original draft जो देखें, so that time we didn't had tribunals at that. So tribunals was not part of the original constitution of India. Now it was only incorporated, friends, in the Indian Constitution by 42nd Amendment Act 1976. So this was included. Tribunals were included in our constitution by amending the constitution in 1976, and we call it as 42nd Amendment. There, Article 323A, which deals with administrative tribunals, and Article 323B deals with the tribunals for other matters. So this is, friends, the objective of what having tribunals. They support the courts, for justice. Now comes the second part. If you just have a look, friends, on the extreme right, there is William G. Gladstone saying what? Justice delayed is justice denied. It means that अगर आप न्याय देने में वक्त लगाते हो तो बहुत बार ऐसे हो सकता है कि शायद आपको न्याय मिले ही ना. So the more it is delayed, the more it will be denied. So let me take you, friends, on the background of what? Let me take you to the background of why it took so many years for NCLT to come up. Now, generally, the average time that was taken for winding up process, just I told you, was somewhere between 10 to 15 years. And the high courts had, they didn't have only, cases relating to companies. They used to have so many other cases, and the high court judges who were dealing in company cases were unable to devote time and energy required for early disposal of winding up cases. आज भी अगर आप देखिए कि हमारी country में कितने सालों से cases चलते रहते हैं. So because there is so much of burden on the judiciary. Prior to NCLT, we had for companies, friends, a company law board who used to take care of what? Who used to take care about the company's insolvencies. Now, they too, they had inadequate members, benches at all the seats of the High Court, and infrastructure to deal with the multiplicity of proceedings. So, उनके पास इतना infrastructure भी नहीं था कि they can settle cases faster. And हमारे country में even this Sikh Industrial Companies Act था, उसमें भी बहुत सारी problems थे, procedures की problem था, revival कैसे किया जाए, reconstruction कैसे की जाए, कि just like when a company is dying, there is something called as internal reconstruction, there is something called as external reconstruction. इनका मतलब होता है कि अगर आपका जो कैपिटल है उसको कैसे कम किया जाए, या एक कंपनी एक्सटर्नल रिकंस्ट्रक्शन ये होता है कि कंपनी पूरा का पूरा कंपनी वही मेंबर्स होते हैं बट नाम कंपनी का चेंज किया जाता है. सो ये सारी चीजों की ये इसको बहुत सारा वक्त लगता था बिफोर NCLT केम इनटू पिक्चर. देन फ्रेंड्स, we say that NCLT is formed in 2016, but it has what, friends? It was not in 2016 that it started. It all happened in the year 2000. So in the year 2000, a high level committee, which was headed by Justice V. Balakrishna Iradi on insolvency and bankruptcy, recommended setting up specialized tribunals to adjudicate all matters relating to companies. So previously, it used to go to high courts, it used to go to company law board, but Justice Iradi, he said that, he recommended that, there has to be a specialized tribunal जो कि adjudicating authority होगा companies से related. So friends, in 2002, there was a second amendment which was done to the Companies Act, and NCLT and NCLAT was introduced on the recommendation of Justice Iradi. So, it started in 2000, and in 2002, what we did is we made the amendment in the Companies Act, and NCLT and NCLAT was introduced. But इनकी जो कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल वैलिडिटी थी, इट वाज चैलेंज्ड इन द मद्रास हाई कोर्ट in the case of R. Gandhi versus Union of India. The high courts felt that their power will be taken away by it will be taken away by NCLT, and that's the reason there it was challenged. Okay, this is not constitutionally right that you give all these rights to the tribunals. But the outcome was, friends, it was a long fight. So in May 2015, the case went up to the Supreme Court, and in Madras Bar Association and Union of India, it was held that NCLT and NCLAT is constitutional. It was upheld the constitutionality, that it was right, that they were not against the constitution. And it took almost, friends, 16 years for these company law tribunals to see the light of the day. So ऐसा नहीं है कि आज अब 2016 में जब they were formed, it already went in 2016. It started in 2000, and then in 2002 we made the amendment, but because there was the issue which was raised, so it took us somewhere around 2015. Till 2015 the fight was on, and finally, friends, it took us almost 16 years, and on 1st of June 2016, the National Company Law Tribunal, that is NCLT, was constituted by the central government from 1st of June 2016. And similarly, friends, on the same date itself, the Appellant Tribunal, that is the National Company Law Appellant Tribunal, that was also formed on 1st of June 2016. So, it was a big fight. Almost you can say it is more around about 16 years it has taken. Now, what happened, friends, on 1/6/2016? The central government constituted NCLT under Section 408 of the Companies Act 2013. And on that particular date, first, it was constituted, that is NCLT or NCLAT was formed. बहुत सारे जो sections हैं वो notify किए गए, और NCLT के benches बने. It was not only that there was only one bench. इनके बहुत सारे benches बने. That was the location कहाँ कहाँ होगा उन benches का. And finally, friends, जो companies के बारे में देखा करता था, जो insolvency देखता था about the companies, that is Company Law Board. Now that Company Law Board, as per Section 466 of the Act, it was dissolved. That is, there was dissolution. So now, friends, after 1/6/2016, we don't have the Company Law Board. Instead of that, now it is being taken care by what? It is being taken care by NCLT. Now let us see, friends, what is the existing structure. Now, agencies dealing with company law matters. Now, this we are talking about before, it is prior to 1/6/2016, जब NCLT form नहीं हुए था. सबसे पहले we have the state high courts, we have CLB, and we have BIFR and AAIFR. अब जितनी भी कंपनीज के वाइंडिंग अप प्रोसेस थे, वाइंडिंग अप मतलब क्लोजर ऑफ द कंपनी के जितने भी पिटिशंस होते थे वो हाई कोर्ट के पास जाते थे. प्लस कोई भी कॉम्प्रोमाइज हो या अरेंजमेंट हो या रिडक्शन ऑफ कैपिटल हो, कैपिटल कंपनी का कम करना या रिस्टोर करना कंपनी का नाम दोबारा, because a company, how it is formed, it has to have its memorandum and articles of association. It has to go to a registrar and get all these things registered, and its name has to come in the list of the registrar of companies. So अगर उसका नाम वापस दोबारा restore करना है, या जो भी आपकी कंपनी लॉ बोर्ड से अपील्स आती हैं वो सभी स्टेट हाई कोर्ट्स के पास आती थी। प्लस जो कंपनी लॉ बोर्ड था वो क्या करते थे, उनका उनकी दे वर डीलिंग इन व्हाट मैटर्स, दे वर डीलिंग इन रेक्टिफिकेशन ऑफ रजिस्टर्स, ट्रांसफर्स, ट्रांसमिशन ऑफ शेयर्स, ऑपरेशन, मिसमैनेजमेंट, कंपाउंडिंग ऑफ ऑफेंसेस एक्सेट्रा। सपोज कोई कंपनी मिसमैनेज कर रही है या ऑपरेशन कर रही है या रजिस्टर्स को रेक्टिफाई करना है, वो सभी कंपनी लॉ बोर्ड देखते थे। एंड जो रिवाइवल और रिहैबिलिटेशन था, जो सिक कंपनीज थी, सिक कंपनीज मतलब जो बीमार कंपनीज है, जो जिनका फाइनेंशियल स्टेटस अच्छा नहीं है, उनको देखा जाता था बाय BIFR and the appellant authority, that is AAIFR. This was the existing structure prior to 1/6/2016. Then friends, once NCLT was formed, the Company Law Board plus BIFR, that is Board for Industrial and Financial Reconstruction, and the Appellant Authority for Industrial and Financial Reconstruction प्लस द हाई कोर्ट, अब इनके जितने भी केसेस हैं, ये सारे के सारे केसेस कहाँ चले गए? ये सारे के सारे केसेस चले गए टू NCLT. They have been shifted to the National Company Law Tribunal. And suppose if you feel that you have not got justice here, you can still go for an appeal to an appellant tribunal, that is National Company Law Appellant Tribunal, within 45 days. And अगर वहां पे भी आपको लगता है कि नहीं, you still want to go to appeal, then you can finally go to appeal to the Supreme Court, and that has to be done within 60 days. This is, friends, how after NCLT being formed, so now we don't have the Company Law Board, it's not that we don't have the high courts, but now company related matters will directly go to whom? It will go to NCLT, and then the appellant authority NCLAT, and then it can go to the Supreme Court.